thank you all for coming. Nice to meet you. My name's Alison Wright. I'm the Office Manager at Ampersand Commerce, and I look after graduate recruitment at Ampersand. So about us, we're an open source e-commerce agency. We help major retailers develop and improve their e-commerce website using open source software. A little bit about us. Founded in 2008 by Darryl AD, who's our Managing Director. We're located in the Northern Quarter, just off Dale Street. We build large-scale, complex international e-commerce websites. We're a technical agency focused on Magento Enterprise. We're a Magento Gold partner. We're one of the best in the UK, definitely the best outside of London. And we've got a team of almost 25 people. A few of our customers, we've got Harvey Nichols, that's a big name, I'm sure you all know. We've worked with Bench in the past, Skins, Kurt Geiger. We're currently working with Benson's for Beds and Japan Land as well in the shop. You guys have heard of those. We know how to have fun. We try and have sort of social things as often as we can. For example, last night we went to Almost Famous. Darryl took us as a thank you for all our hard work over the last sort of month or so, wasn't it, with Benson's and things. We've all worked really hard, so we had a treat, big burger, fries, drinks, it's great. We get treats for her birthday as well. Oh, that's for Pam's birthday, Pam's 40th. She's Dolly Parton there. We all had a fancy dress day in the office. You can see Ian there as Clark Kent. So over to you.
Oh, okay. So what I would just like to do is say a little bit about, I mean, kind of, if you've seen the talks from Josh before and you've just heard a little bit of me talking before, just under the camera, then you've got a little idea of the picture of the type of business we are. And when I say about Ampersand, I mean, Alison just told you about Ampersand then, but I'd like to look at more what makes us different to other agencies. And in the time I've been in the business, in the industry, you'd be amazed at how many agencies don't have good software development practices. They literally share code on USB memory sticks. They edit code directly on production servers. There's no control over anything they do. And then these are all things we've from day one have always never done. All of our code uses version control. We've got teams of people working on things. Version control is essential. We work very hard. It took us a good 12 months to refine our processes for deploying code to servers that mean that code deployment for us is a one-click operation. The code goes off to the server, no manual intervention, and everything's automated and works beautifully. So releases are smooth, pain-free, and nothing ever goes wrong, honestly. So we have strong version control, we have strong deployment procedures, and we write tests. Every project we do, we continuously improve what we work on. We work on a small number of projects every year, and every project we learn from the previous one and we improve on the next one, and that's very important to this business of continuously improving. We have a problem on one project, we never want to see that problem again. As part of the release process, we have a continuous integration service where every commit gets sent to Jenkins, who runs a series of tests on the code to make sure that the style of the code, indentation, things like that are all correct variable names. And it will run the test suite for whatever tests are there. Our efforts in testing are always improving. We started off from 0 and we're now at maybe 50% code coverage, and we're working on that every single project. And certain areas of the code are 100% covered, some areas aren't quite as well covered. So we look for, in applications for any role at Ampersand, technical role, we always look for people that have extra skills around the code, around their core programming ability. So, do you write tests? do you understand why tests are useful? And lots of people understand why they're useful, but don't. And to us, what we look for, if you came in and said, yeah, on my final year project, I wrote tests for automated tests for every aspect of the code that I wrote and achieved 80% code coverage of what I was, of the code that I'd written, that would really set you apart from everybody else that was in there. And it's things like this that we look for, these extra software engineering skills. Also on there, we use PHP, that doesn't really make that different. There's lots of places use PHP, it's still one of the most widely used languages out there. But we use PHP correctly, we treat it as a serious programming language. It quite often is seen as the domain of front-end hackers who are just throwing together a website, put a few images together and just throw it out there. We're building sites that are dealing with millions of pounds worth of business we can't afford. When something goes wrong, it costs money, and our clients get very angry. This is why we have all of these control and procedures in there. We try and eliminate all of these problems and ensure we write reusable code that gets transferred from project to project, and the bug fixing one will be the bug fixing the next project we use because we're reusing the same code. That leads on to the reason that we're here, the graduate programme, and we've been running the graduate programme since 2011, and we've been trying to increase the scale of the graduate programme all the time because especially sort of computer science graduates, they have the base skills that we need, the object-oriented programming. I could list lots of different things, but basically the core skills that we're interested in is use the products of university. Since 2011, we've hired 8 graduates, and they've all been with us at least a year, and most of them are still there. The other people that left, one went to do a PhD, and somebody left to get a job at the BBC somewhere. So, we've got quite a good retention for the graduates that we start, and we're quite proud of that. We must be doing something right if that's the case. Before I move on to that, actually, what does applying to our graduate process look like? There's a little bit of QA before we start to talk this, and maybe some QA afterwards. But basically, we like to take people on in batches, so we'll usually time an intake of graduates to do with the end of a course, a particular course, and it could be undergraduate or whatever that might be. So we'll try and arrange interviews building up to the intake of a batch of a cohort of people. The interview process can seem quite intimidating, and we'll ask lots of difficult questions, but we're not trying to catch you out or be awkward or nasty. We're just trying to establish a base level of this year's cohort of people, what level they're at, because some years we have very high ability in certain areas and not in others, and it varies every year. So what we do is we ask you a series of questions to do with things like what was your final year project, what activities did you take part in outside of your university programme, so being a member of a programming group such as this. And we're looking for technical answers. We're looking for what challenges did you have to overcome, what techniques did you use, did you write tests, did you use version control, did you need a left join or a right join on the database. We're looking to see how much of your craft you've used to do this thing. And we have a number of key areas, and we give everybody a score out of 5. And at the end of the interview process we take these scores, and it's not really a pass-fail score, but we use it to identify this person's very strong in this area, but they're very weak maybe in SQL statements or something. And that gives us the ability to say, well, if we take this person on, we can spend a bit more time with them, helping them learn about MySQL, helping them learn about left joins and right joins. And it just gives us a good idea of where everybody's at. Once you start with us, then you move on to, we have a very quite an intense period of training initially. So we use the Magento e-commerce platform. That's all we do currently. And the majority of the training is focused on the correct use of the Magento platform. It's a big thing. It's a bit Java-like in certain aspects, and it's very easy to do it wrong. So what we try and do is we've not really a fixed time on it because different graduates move through at different paces. But we try and get you by the end of it to be competent in the use and the ability to program things, modules, code, to interact with and work within the Magento environment. Once you have achieved, once you've moved through the training materials, which are all hosted on a wiki, and you kind of just get on with it, ask questions when you need it, and you'll be mentored by one of the senior developers who will check in with you every now and then to find out how you're getting on. All your work will be committed into a version control system, and somebody might just have a look and say, there's a better way of doing it than that, because we thought about doing it like this. And once you've achieved a certain level of usage of Magento, then we'll probably give you some real work to do. This might be a project that's on the go at the moment, or it might be a bug report that's come in, or a new feature to be added. And it will be a real client's website, real code, working in exactly the same way as everything else, but it's in a sandbox. You won't actually be deploying that code or giving it to anybody to deploy. And again, that work will be reviewed, looked at, and at every point during this there's somebody there that you can ask questions for, one of the more senior members of the team, and you can always ask them, is this the right way to do it, should I do it like this? And we're looking for inquisitive minds as well, you know, where somebody might say, I found this and that just seems wrong, you know, could it not be done like this, is that not a better way of doing it? Those are real positives that we're looking for. We don't just want drones who are just going to move through things. At the end of that, we will, as quickly as possible, get you working on real client work. Excuse me a second. I'm just getting over a cold, so it is killing my throat there. Should have got a drink.
Yeah.
So I mentioned with feedback, we want to get you working on real client work as quickly as possible. Sorry. We want you to get to work on real client work as quickly as possible, because that's how you learn, and that's how that's how you give benefit to the business. Because I mean, ultimately, you need to bear in mind we are a commercial entity. We're there to make money, unfortunately, and it pays you wages, and it gives you, more importantly, it gives you meaningful work to get stuck into and enjoy. The training doesn't just stop there though, because that's all very focused on Magento. You notice I've not mentioned PHP yet. We kind of assume that your base programming, you know, the people we recruit know how to write programs. You know, they know how to build software correctly, and are all intelligent and can pick up PHP very quickly. But the training doesn't stop there. I don't know if there's another slide of that. No. The training doesn't stop there. For example, this year we had quite a large group course with some MySQL training, which was somebody came in from the outside of the business and went through, covered a lot of the basics again, just to make sure everybody was comfortable with it, and they did some more advanced SQL and things. We had we had an event for team training, so most of the company was together working on silly team building exercises, building the thing to hold an egg in the middle that didn't break when you threw it across the room, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But fundamentally, it's about learning about the makeup of teams, because quite often people come, they're used to working on their own, and that applies to both graduates and to other people we recruit. A lot of the time they were the one guy programming in the business or whatever it was they were, and they're used to just focusing everything on themselves, and they forget that they're in a team of 5 or 6 people working on a particular project now. So we look at doing that, and part of working for us is having a personal development plan, and we try and identify areas that you want to improve in. there's training budgets, and we can look at trying to help people develop themselves.